6 months into the race to be the senator of North Carolina, constitutional attorney and former naval JAG officer Don Brown is in the pack in the Republican primary, working hard after speaking at 35 GOP club meetings and personally meeting thousands of voters. Brown thinks he's become the clear grassroots favorite. Two recent polls show him leading the field, a strong signal that his message of fighting government overreach and restoring constitutional values is working across his state. Joining me now to discuss it is the man himself, former JAG officer, Senate candidate as Republican North Carolina, Don Brown. Don, nice to see you again.
Good to see you, Steve. Thanks for having me back. Really appreciate it.
Glad to have you here. All right, so Roy Cooper's in the race now. And look, we can downplay that all we want, but the truth of the matter is he was, I think, 4 times the attorney general, 2 times the governor. If you end up going up against Roy Cooper, it's going to be a battle, an uphill climb, isn't it?
He drove the state into the ground during COVID. As I said many times, the last time, Steve, I saw my dad alive, was looking through the outside of a nursing home in Plymouth, North Carolina, because of Roy Cooper's unconstitutional mandates keeping North Carolinians away from their elderly and dying loved ones. We're going to chase him all over the state, remind him of that. We're going to remind him of how he opposed voter ID. We're going to remind him of how he commuted 20-some murderers like right before he went into office. I remind him of how he wants little girls have to share their bathrooms and locker rooms with boys and men. He's a radical with a Southern smile, but he's a radical. He's a grid-eating radical. He is going to be a target-rich environment from a political standpoint, and I can't wait to chase him down from Manio to Murphy and all over the state and remind him of his radicalism. And by the way, Steve, by the end of the year, North Carolina will be a Republican majority state. We've closed the gap. We will be a Republican majority state. He's now talking about reaching out to Republicans because he knows he can't win. But this has been the most radical governor in North Carolina history. Nobody has ever hit him as hard as I'm going to hit him. By the time I'm done with him, he'll wish he never heard my name.
Well, there you have it. Don Brown laying the groundwork for a campaign that's going to take some grit and it's going to take some fight. It's going to take some money too, Don. How do you get, I mean, look, you know this, Roy Cooper's going to get papered with a pile of money, truckloads of it from out of state and everywhere else. They'll probably spend $100 million trying to win that seat, won't they?
Well, you know, there have been all types of astronomical estimates. Steve, I've heard that amount. I think somebody said Roy raised $3 million yesterday. They know where the Soros money is, where the radical Democrat donors are. But look, here's the thing about it. Remember, we've still got, first of all, we got 9 months to go to the primary and over a year before the general election. Most of that money is probably going to be spent after the primary. But I remind folks that, Kamala Harris outspent President Trump, and he still kicked her all over the field. You remember Michael Bloomberg, a billionaire, outspent everybody. So while this is going to be very important, and certainly we can't discount the amount of money that's going to have to be raised and spent, there's a lot more that goes into it than just that. We've been all over the state, and as you mentioned, in about 35 counties in the last month or so, and we continue to crisscross the state. The grassroots out there is ready for an America First senator that's going to be ready not only to have President Trump's back during the last two years of his administration, but hopefully to have President J.D. Vance's back as well as we move into the first 4 years after President Trump, when there's going to be a real battle on the future of this nation. And I'm ready for that battle, and I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Don, let me ask you this. You got to clear the first hurdle first. Obviously, your slings and arrows are ready for Roy Cooper. Clearly, he has a track record and not one that's too attractive to a lot of folks in North Carolina. I know that. I have family there. I have friends there, and they're not big fans of Roy Cooper. I think that's safe to say. But you have to get over the first hurdle. Michael Whatley is in the race to be the senator from North Carolina as well, former RNC chair, good friend of Donald Trump. How do you clear that first hurdle?
Well, first off, this is going to be an issues-based campaign. So I'm running on issues. I'm not running against Michael's personality. We've got to take this $37 trillion national debt down. We've got to, and one thing that separates me from Michael, I believe, is the issue of medical freedom. He used the North Carolina Republican Party, unfortunately, as a platform to push Fauci's dangerous COVID vaccines. And I think he made a mistake to do that. By contrast, I've been a medical freedom fighter. I've fought against the dangerous experimental vaccines, took Savannah River plant to court, representing 78 plaintiffs, including many nuclear engineers, not just to the U.S. District Court in Columbia, South Carolina, but all the way to the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals before Biden backed down. So I think medical freedom is going to be a huge issue that's going to separate the two of us. And our grassroots Republicans are medical freedom champions and advocates. I commend Bobby Kennedy, Secretary Kennedy, for what he's doing now to try to clean up the whole situation. But we're going to run this race on issues, not personality, but issues. And I believe I've got what it's going to take both Chairman Whatley out and also Roy Cooper at the end of the day.
Well, there you have it, Don Brown. All right, so give me your top three issues for your voters. Your top three issues. Is it the economy's always got to be number one, I'm guessing, and we don't really know how it's all going to play out. We've got the deals in place with the EU, with Korea today, Japan previously. Those are frameworks. They're not officially signed. I think the UK is only the officially signed deal. So it's really going to be a measure of where we are maybe a year from now, isn't it? Is how the economy looks and how things are playing out. How important is that in North Carolina?
Well, of course, the economy is extremely important in North Carolina, and I've been all over the state. North Carolina was once the premier, furniture producing state in the nation, textile producing state in Cabarrus County. I asked what happened to our textile industry in the Winston-Salem area. Where's our furniture industry high point? I grew up in a little town called Plymouth, where there was a large pulp mill, a Weyerhaeuser plant there that had 3,500 people in a town of 5,000. That's gone down to 300 because of these ridiculous trade deals the Democrats sign. NAFTA. You sign NAFTA, you make your principal economic competitor, China, put them on steroids with most favored nation status. So yes, North Carolinians are extremely concerned about what's happened with the Democrats sapping our jobs away. But I'm a believer in tariffs. President Trump has helped educate me on that when he spoke with Joe Rogan and talked about how the McKinley administration was making so much money off tariffs they had to find a commission to figure out how to spend the money. I just heard Caroline talking about $150 billion in from tariffs alone, and so I think that's going to help. What I want to do also is I want to take out the Internal Revenue Service, Steve, not just the Department of Education that's got to be eliminated legislatively, but the IRS also. I want to end the individual income tax, and I want to end the corporate income tax. And if you think about it, Steve, you eliminate the corporate income tax, all these companies that have left North Carolina, from textile to pulp and paper to furniture and other countries, industries around the nation, will come flying back so fast it'll make your head spin. So these are some of the issues that I want to push for on the floor of the United States Senate. Our people in North Carolina are behind these issues. We're sick and tired of the government forcing us to do all this. Well, Don Brown, you're a fired up young man, Don. I appreciate that. You got the attitude and the fire to be on the road. Tell the folks where they can learn more. You got a website, I'm sure of that. All right. Well, thanks for the young man part. But yes, we have a website. It's brown4fornc.com. Brown4nc.com. Give the young man a little love. Come on the website and help us out. We appreciate it. There you have it. Don Brown, nice seeing you again, my friend. Have a great afternoon.